Okay, so I have got some bad news that should come as no surprise. I have officially decided to kill Zelda Legacy and shoot it in the head. I just wanted to give you a heads up as to, yeah, don't expect any more. I dragged it out for a long time, hoping I would get back to it. Never did. See, this whole thing started in 2011. I was in LA, Anaheim, technically. It was the best apartment I could get closest to LA. I was trying to break into showbiz, going all Hollywood, and no, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I thought I'd get an agent who would tell me what I was doing. Get headshots here. This is the kind of headshot you want. Here's an audition that's great for your career. Go do this audition. But obviously, no agent would touch me with a 10-foot pole because I didn't have any experience and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it was kind of a catch 22 where you can't get experience acting because you don't have experience acting. You can't get anywhere because you haven't already gotten anywhere, which makes sense. I mean, it's Hollywood. Their agents are there to negotiate contracts, not manage your career. And it's Hollywood. Why would they bother? Every time I called somebody, it was, nope, no new talent, no submission, sorry, on by, click. Anyway, the point is, I saw, at the time, I was there for like 3 months, and then I couldn't find a day job, and despite having qualifications, and I have my theories on that, I won't go into it. While I was there, I saw a video, a walkthrough of Ocarina of Time, and it sucked. I don't know who did it, some chick, and I went, pfft, I could do better than that. I've beaten Ocarina 50 times in my sleep. I mean, like 100%ed it. All Skulltulas, everything. A couple times I've done it in a marathon, like in one sitting, where I just take a break to go to the bathroom, stare out the window. It took 18 hours and I 100%ed it, and it was fun. And she didn't finish it, and it was bad, and I went, yeah, I'll do better. So I did. I used the GameCube version, which had slightly higher resolution, and I did my original Ocarina of Time 100% walkthrough. And after that, of course, I hit the eject button on LA, practically bankrupt, went back home and decided to get a degree in business because I figured I'd get a day job in LA being a bookkeeper, an accountant or something, do more work during tax time, and it's flexible so I can get back and audition and film something. Which I haven't gone back to LA yet, and I think I will someday, probably, I hope. But excuse me. That's part of it. All this. So people liked the Ocarina walkthrough, but it was kind of low quality. The video was not HD. It was the best I could do. The mic, even this mic, it's a professional mic. It's a shotgun mic, what they'd call broadcast quality, but you can hear it's pretty echoey in a small room. I tried to launch a voiceover career, still working on that. I have a space downstairs that's got sound foam on the wall and a blanket that I can put up on the other side. And I've taken voiceover classes and gotten all the equipment and learned all the stuff. I just need to actually, launch into it and fail a bunch, burn through a bunch of bad auditions. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, I thought after Ocarina that I'll do this more. What if I do every Zelda game? And I thought, I'm doing Ocarina on the GameCube, but there are 100 different iterations. Where do you draw the line? There's Link's Awakening, Link's Awakening DX, Link's Awakening Switch, Link's Awakening on the Game & Watch, where it's got the German version in there too, so you can put in different music, and it gives you, if you put in different names and file select screen, it gives you different music. The Japanese version too, the secret Toda KK or whatever song. I don't remember. This is long and boring, and I'm sorry, but I'm kind of rambling, and I really don't have the heart to do this more than once. So I thought, okay, I'll do everything. I'll do all the games on their original consoles, because there's Ocarina on the GameCube, Ocarina 3D, Ocarina HD, etc., etc. And so I thought original games and original consoles as close as I can get. And then I thought, if I'm doing them all, what if I do them all in story order and try to make sense of the story? Because some of these stories are just not good. There are plot holes. These games were never intended to really be sequels. Some of them, yes. I mean, Majora's Mask, a sequel to Ocarina. Link's Awakening is a sequel to A Link to the Past. Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons can be done in either order, so either one can be a sequel. I still attest that Seasons comes first because it's got a 7 in its model number, and Ages has an 8 in its model number. But otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. Then there was the split theory timeline, the split timeline theory that a fan had, and Nintendo said, "Yeah, hey, sure." In fact, you can see I've got Hyrule Historia here that goes into that and says, "Yeah, here's what we think happened in Hyrule history, but this is subject to change when we learn about it in the future," which is basically them covering their asses to not have to hem anything in. So trying to make sense of that timeline was just a big undertaking. And for what it's worth, I'm still a big proponent that Breath of the Wild takes place in the Twilight Princess timeline. Because there was a recording, there was an interview with the creators, and I think it was a fan said, what timeline does this take place in? And they said, oh, when you play through the game, you'll know what timeline it's in. It'll all make sense. And when you get all the recovered memories, they mention a princess bathed in twilight or something, which is obviously an allusion to Twilight Princess. I also think that Breath of the Wild is like the original game, the 1986 Legend of Zelda, but in 3D, redone in another universe. So it takes place at the same time, but the parallel timeline. It's got Death Mountain, it's got the same landscapes and stuff. That's my theory, but I can't prove it. And therein lies the problem. So, all of this to say, I decided to do every game 100%, even like hero mode, and in story order to make sense of the story. And I decided that I would do it in such a way that I would only have the game on screen at any given time. I didn't want to cut away from it. I just wanted it to be a playthrough. And when I mention things like the Breath of the Wild interview, first I have to go find them, and I can't find that interview anymore, and I don't want to look. But second, I'd have to cut away to kind of cite my source. And one way I could do that maybe is to have like a Friday show like Game Ranks does, where they have reviews and top 10 things that X gamers hate, or, before you buy, don't buy this Arkham game because WB Montreal screwed the pooch again. Or they've got the Friday show where they're like, hey, here's a rumor we've heard on Reddit, but this Redditor has a history of actually having some credibility. I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep my thumb on the pulse of the Zelda industry. And I think that's kind of what's required for all of that. So basically, I ended up biting off more than I could chew. And in order to achieve what it is I wanted to achieve with the parameters that I had set forth, I would need to invest a lot more time and effort into it than I am willing to invest. I love Zelda. I love 100%ing the games. I love making task lists to 100% the games. My Skyward Sword had, little subtitles at the bottom of what to do and when. And I thought that was cool too. And so there was that component of it. But, I'm just one guy, and I've got a day job, and I've got problems like everybody else. In fact, just now, my grandpa died yesterday. I wasn't particularly close to him. The funeral is up north, and my dad's asking me to pick up my half-brother that I never talked to from the airport and drive him up. I'm like, I don't even want to go to the funeral. I haven't talked to my half-brother. I don't wanna. How do I get out of this? So I've got problems, just like everybody. For a long time, there was relationship stuff or lack thereof stemming from abandonment issues. Again, hey, thanks, Dad, which is why I'm not that close to Grandpa from my parents' divorce. But that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, basically I have to kill Zelda Legacy because I've decided that it's kind of flawed from the start. To achieve what I want is just a lot more intensive than I have the time and resources and energy for. And while I was busy with emotional issues for a bit, I always meant to get back to it. I always thought I would. It's on my long-term list to get back to it. But the other day, it just occurred to me that it's kind of a catch-22. In order to have the only games on screen format that I had, no cutaways, no picture-in-picture showing my face being like, ooh, like friggin' Pootie Pie, who, after I started uploading in 2011, a few months later, he started his shtick, and I'm like, fucker stole from me. Which, I mean, he probably never saw me, I don't know, and Markiplier and all them, they don't know. But, yeah, I don't really want to do that. It's not a let's play, it's a 100% walkthrough. And the story order component and making sense of the story and be like, oh, when Mido says this, he doesn't actually mean it. That's just more than I have time for and that I can do with my equipment. I mean, I got all the consoles, all the original consoles and capture cards where I could, all the original games, 100% of the games, professional microphone that still is not great. And that's another thing that took so long. It was because when I was editing, there was always, at the end of every line, and it drove me nuts. And then a lot of this. I've got esophageal issues and sinus issues, and that just doesn't bode well for commentary. And so I'd have to go through and take out all the and then I'd have to go through at the end of every single line. So I'm going in here, and Link is so I'm gonna have Link do this thing. Oh my god, it drove me nuts. We've become more tolerant of that in the COVID-19 pandemic. That kind of created this tolerance to bad mics and bad audio. And at the beginning, since I didn't want echoey and I didn't want to pick up all the background noise, I had a headset mic that was, or, oh, that drove me nuts. So I'm gonna get this Skulltula, and you'll find it on the back. Oh Jesus, So I went through, and that took forever, which made me kind of reticent to actually keep recording. It was very intensive, and my standards were just up here. And I think they had to be in order to do what I wanted to do, to set out with all the story order and make sense of everything in chronological order. The standards have to be up here. I would have to watch Nintendo Treehouse Live and stuff, and I don't wanna. Sorry, I don't. That's not what I want to do. There are lots of filmmakers who will go to studios, and the studios say, well, you need to change the third act. Yes, but you got to throw this into there. How open are you to having a giant walking ice cream cone in here? And these filmmakers will say, no, that's not the movie I want to make. Thank you. I'm going to go over there and talk to the other studio who wants to make it. In fact, that Disneyland, J.K. Rowling pitched her Harry Potter world to Disneyland, and they said, yes, but I want to base it on the books. And she said, nope, screw you. I'm going over to Universal Studios, and they're going to make it the way I want. And she did. Microsoft, same thing. Bill Gates marched across town and patented Windows. It was that easy. It's like, if you're not going to do it, I will. So there's a lot of artistic integrity, but it's really more, even in a business sense, you don't have to if you don't want to. In business school, we did this case study about someone who ran a post-hernia operation clinic. And he had it down to a science. He just did hernias. And he had this whole routine that people recovered very quickly, and they did really well. And he could have expanded. And he said, no, I don't want to. I like my one clinic. I'm not going to patent this and open 3 more clinics because there's more money in it. No. And the moral of that story in business school was not all growth is good growth. It's perfectly valid to do just what you want to do. And that's kind of how I feel with Zelda Legacy. I don't want to keep my thumb on the pulse of Zelda. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. I don't want to watch Treehouse Live. I don't want to keep heed of the rumors on Reddit and other places, and I don't want to try to make sense of a flawed joined timeline. I thought maybe I'd do, like, before every game I'd have, here's the story thus far, and have clips from my previous games. and be like, okay, the goddess Hylia did this, and then the goddesses Din, Faror, and Nehru came over, and you'd have like recordings from the gameplay and the cutscenes, and be like, hey, it's in the game, it's canon, you can't argue with it. Here's what it says. Except for those places I find plot holes and I say ignore what it says on screen. I thought about that. I thought about maybe just doing a timeline thing, but there are already a dozen YouTube videos going over the Zelda timeline. And yeah, I think most of them are bad, especially the 2-hour one where the guy kind of misses a lot of stuff and he puts on this really fake, deep narrator voice. I mean, there's something to be said about that, but since I've been training as a voice actor, it makes me cringe. And it's, I mean, for the layman, sure, it's good enough. It's a good summary. It covers all the shit, and it's already been done. Is the point? And I don't want to do better because what's in it for me? So I've come to the conclusion that Zelda Legacy, with what I'm attempting to do, in the way that I'm attempting to do it, is kind of a flawed project from the start. Kind of like the Lion King CGI remake. Okay, you want them to be realistic looking on one side, you make it CGI, but you've got dancing and singing animals on the other side. You can't have realistic dancing and singing animals. Okay, so if you want them to dance and sing and have a whole story and talk, that's cool, but you gotta make them look better. Otherwise, it looks like necromancy. And I love The Lion King. In fact, that's that one there. But the CGI movie was just bad. You couldn't have both worlds. And so it's kind of the same way I feel about Zelda. I'm kind of a purist where it's like, okay, you can do it, but it's going to suck. And the people who think it doesn't suck don't know any better. And that's not who I want to make a project for. So, unfortunately, yeah, I'm just giving broad notice that I'm killing Zelda Legacy after a long, long, long hiatus. And kind of trying to explain why. And I'm hoping, I still want to do something of that. Kind of like George Lucas still wanted to make films after Star Wars and didn't. But I'm hoping sometime, maybe to limit it to just a 100% walkthrough of every game. Maybe a specific storyline video using other people's footage. Maybe something without commentary. Not everybody likes my commentary. I got a comment once, someone said, dude, you're annoying. And I quickly deleted that comment and went, but, and there was another guy who's like, how dare you swear? I was in church, my daughter was watching this on my cell phone to keep her quiet, and you said, fuck this or something. And I'm like, dude, fuck you. I never said this was appropriate for children. You're the one watching it. Fuck off. I took the high road and I just deleted his comment and made an attempt to swear less and rant less. Focus more on the game. My original Ocarina of Time walkthrough was all about me just bitching about everything that I hate. And I hate everything. If you haven't noticed, everything and everyone. And that kind of triggers the basic human insecurity. Where if I say, I hate this thing, and someone goes, well, I kind of like that thing. What's wrong with me for liking it? Nothing's wrong with me. It's wrong with you. Fuck you. No, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. Road rage kind of thing. Yeah, no, it was less of a platform for my bitching about everything and everyone and trying to focus more on the game, which is another thing. In fact, I mean, I love Zelda. Most of my t-shirts are Zelda t-shirts. That's my style. Like jeans or hiking pants or khakis, slacks, and a Zelda shirt. It's like 70% of my wardrobe is Zelda shirts. Most YouTubers will do that too. Just freaking ironic though. They don't know Zelda, and it's always, "What's up, guys? What's up? What do you mean? You don't even have a video to make. You're just making an impression of a video. It's a naive imitation, like when actors put on a British accent because they think that's just how you act. Why are you doing a British accent? I don't know. We're just acting." Again, I'm ranting about stuff. I get frustrated, and I'm flustered about how I'm going to get out of going to my grandpa's funeral, and I'm flustered about killing Zelda Legacy, but I think actually this will come as a relief, and I'm hoping At some point in the future, I can narrow the scope and try to achieve less. Um, Maybe just a walkthrough without commentary. Maybe a walkthrough with commentary and all the task list. Maybe the story of each game after that. Be like, here's what happened in the game, and I can use footage from the game. But even that seems a little more involved. Um, like I'm reminded once I applied for a bookkeeping job at some motel or something, and I thought, yeah, okay, I'll apply. Why not? You know, apply everywhere. Then they called me for an interview, and I went, oh, what job is this? Which one? You're interviewing me? And then I reread the job description and realized they wanted like a full charge accountant to get taxes ready for their tax professionals and do like all the accounting department for like $9 an hour. No. Um, but I had to call back and I basically told them, I'm sorry, that looking at the job description again, it just seems like it's a lot more involved than I'm looking for right now. Oh, okay, that's fine. Thank you. Bye. And Zelda Legacy is kind of the same thing. I've got 101 projects. I'm working as a work from home bookkeeper currently, and I love it. Pays more than $9 an hour. And I've got family stuff, and I've got relationship stuff, seeing a marriage and family counselor with my girlfriend because she's nuts. Okay, I'm nuts too. Um, it's great. We make a team. Um, I'll say no more. But yeah, so I'm sorry. This has gone on too long, basically. Thank you for watching and enjoying the videos. I'm sorry I couldn't really achieve what it is I wanted to set out and achieve. It would have been awesome, but it would just require more time and resources than I've got. Kind of like another anecdote. Before I went to LA, I lived in Las Vegas. I had worked for a client who had contractors all over the US. They would just outsource to subcontractors and third parties for bank owned homes. And this was 2008, 2009, so the economy wasn't so great. There were lots of foreclosures, lots of banks jumped on that, jumped on new legislation that said you can't deny somebody a home loan based on the fact they can't afford it. Then they had balloon payments where you pay like a third of the mortgage price, the monthly payment, with the expectation that it's gonna like triple or even quadruple, like from a third to like 9 times what it is in a year. And you think, oh yeah, I'll definitely have a job in a year. And you don't. And you can't afford your mortgage. And so you get evicted after like 10 months of not paying your mortgage. And some people get mad and they trash out the house. One house I think they tried to burn down. There were like burn marks in the carpet. It just didn't work. Anyway, I worked for this company and we didn't have a good rep in Las Vegas. They were bad. They didn't answer the phone. They didn't do the work we asked. They did bad work. And I thought, someone's going to ride into town and take all the work. Why don't we have anyone? And I thought, why not me? So I did. I got my shit organized and I went down there and it was great for about a year. Then things started coming back. My competitors down there were bigger businesses and they operated in more than just the Las Vegas area. And I went down thinking it's closer to LA than I am now. Maybe I can pop over and audition on the weekends or get familiar with buddy with an agent or something. Of course, that never happened. For what it's worth, I did film a small scene in a movie with Kevin Costner, though. So I'm getting something just this summer, or a few months ago. I expect it'll be released next summer. So if you see the fat clerk who can't really act, that's me. But the point is, the time in Las Vegas, my competitors were bigger, and they had what I called at the time Walmartization of the industry. Later, I went back to business school. I learned it's called economies of scale. That's the official term for it. But it was at the point where it's either I have to double down and get a bigger crew. It was just me, and sometimes friends would come and want to see Las Vegas. And before I gave them a tour of the Strip, I'd have them, clean the carpet at this one property with me or something. Put them to work, and then we could go party. But it got to the point where I'd have to get a new crew. I'd have to invest and take a risk in more equipment, and I was having trouble finding more clients so I could get bigger to compete and hope there were more clients. And the answer was, that's not really my passion. I'm not really interested in doubling down and making this my life's work. So they want the work, they can have it. So I abandoned my equipment at the four corners of Las Vegas, went out of business joyfully, and then went to LA to try to break into showbiz. And Anaheim, technically. And Zelda Legacy is kind of the same thing. I could dig down and knuckle under and make it happen at any cost, but I don't know if the reward is worth it. And frankly, I'm at a point where I'm not interested in trying anymore. I've done that with films too. I made a fan film, Star Wars. It was terrible. I was in high school. I tried to make a sequel using what little budget I had and what little equipment I had. It was terrible. And I realized, no, I mean, I could take out loans or something or find backers, but it's not worth it. It's the potential reward is not worth the risk. And I kind of feel the same way about Zelda Legacy. The potential reward of what I could accomplish in this is not worth all the resources it would take to figure out, and somebody else would benefit from it more than I would. So, yeah, that's basically, what is this, like a half hour or so of me trying to justify killing Zelda Legacy. I'm hoping at some point to do it again, maybe just Legacy on the Legacy platforms. Maybe 100% walkthrough on the originals, with or without commentary. Like Breath of the Wild is a Wii U, and they ported it to Switch for a launch title. Play that on the Wii U, so on and so forth. But not right now, and don't count on it. Yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching, but obviously it's struggling, and it's crawling, and it's on its last legs, and I'm just putting it out of its misery. Thanks. Bye. Appreciate it.